Missed you guys. Call this meeting to order. I'll ask Sandra to please record the attendance. Are we expecting absences today? I know that
Yes,
Gordon is not
Gordon
not going to be here.
correct.
Although perhaps he's going to join via Zoom. So let's be mindful of that.
Yeah, I did not hear from anybody else, so.
Okay. We do have a quorum, so let's go
Yes.
ahead and get started without them. Article 2, approval of the agenda. Please take a look through the agenda, and after you've reviewed it, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I approve this evening's agenda.
I'll second.
Take a second when you're doing the minutes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to Article 3, approval of the minutes of the February 15, 2022 meeting. Take a look through those if you haven't yet already done so, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion or comments? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to Article 4, acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak to non-agenda items. Any comments for the group today? Hi there. Anyone on Zoom who would like to provide public comment?
Max? Okay.
Oh, man, right, for the next agenda item. All right. If we don't have any public, any visitors or those wishing to speak to non-agenda items, let's move on then to Article 5, which is to discuss and consider the rapid bus contract. So go ahead and unmute Max if he's muted so that he'll be able to participate in our conversation, and I will turn the floor over to Sandra.
Thank you. So this was a big part of your packet. I apologize for that. But as you know, our current contract with the Rapid expires on May 9th. And to allow the Rapid team time to look ahead and schedule the next term, they need a decision from us tonight on the status of the service here in Cascade. So last June, if you remember, the DDA approved a short-term contract. It was effective from October through May 9th of this year. They did that short-term contract, the Rapid Board did, so that they could monitor and evaluate the revenue hour service relationship with us. And the Board of Directors at their February 23rd meeting did grant authorization to continue providing that revenue hour billing model to the township in perpetuity. So every contract from here beyond will reflect that. So the next term runs from May 10th of this year, 2022, through August 8th of 2022. And the bus committee asked, hey, can we structure something longer than that? And they said with the inability to calculate the hourly operational costs for the next fiscal year, it would be easier when they have that ability to do that, to bring a contract back at that time. And that contract would then run from August 29 of 2022 through the next billing cycle, August 29 of 2023. Sorry, lots of numbers there. So again, the contract, there is one in your packet. It has been signed by the Rapid. And that is effective beginning May 10th of this year, 2022. That runs through August 28th of 2022. The DDA will then have to revisit the next contract before June 17th to discuss that contract renewal for the next fiscal year, if you will. I hope all that makes sense. So the contract that is in here was reviewed by the bus committee, and after comments were received from the bus committee, the Rapid did some revision to that, and what you have in the packet includes comments from the bus committee. We did the Survey Monkey. Bus committee reviewed those questions as well. There are public responses sorted by question as well as by type of business. Those are in your packets. There's some ridership information. And then it was a little clunky, if you will, but to address the couple comments about which businesses use the bus. We took the survey and the numbers on the map in the packet for each of the development areas reflect the survey responses. I can't find it right now, but reflect the survey responses that responded to question 3 of either they use the bus for employee attraction, retention, transportation options, or customer client access. So
It is on page, oh boy, I just had it. Hold on.
I know.
16,
Here it is.
92 of the packet.
All right, so was that towards the beginning or the end?
It's kind of middle.
Kind of in the middle. All right.
It's
Sorry.
after all it immediately follows all the Survey Monkey results.
Thank you. Yes, so for example, in this interchange area, there were 10 responses from businesses in this area that utilize the bus, 10 in 28th Street area, 6 in 16th Park, 8.
And particularly, the map refers to those businesses that answered the questions in the survey relative to, do your employees or customers use the bus?
Yeah, so
Correct.
in response to question number 3, which was, in what ways does your business benefit from the rapid bus service? So, correct.
Thank you very much. And I know several members of the DDA are on the bus committee and are also happy to answer questions that people may have. The question that Sandra brought up about the fact that this is a short-term contract for only a few months. I'm not thrilled with that, but it's a better option to renegotiate the contract when we know whether or not the rates are going to go up in August. So I was reluctant to agree to a longer term bus contract where that figure wouldn't be something that the Rapid would be able to agree to until they have their budget for the subsequent fiscal period. So I'll open up the floor to questions for either Sandra or the members of the bus committee, or for Max Sullivan, who's on Zoom right now. And can you hear us, Max?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So does anyone have any questions?
How are we charged? How do we pay? Like how frequently?
Wasn't it hourly rate? I thought it was hourly.
I
Right,
see
but I
it,
think she means
Article
like,
3, I see, but it just, if I'm looking at it, it doesn't give me I see $75.71 per revenue hour during the term. So how does that break down into what will be charged for this service, for the services that will be provided in this contract under
It's
this contract?
66,000.
66,000.
right, are you asking if it's a lump sum payment or monthly, or? are you
Just
asking-
curious to how we pay for it. Yeah, how they charge us.
Yeah, if I could step in. Yeah, that is on a monthly billing cycle. And we usually supply that to the township shortly after the first of every month, is my understanding. And that monthly cost is then, you see there on the operating days, basically we take the number of weekdays, Saturdays, Sundays, and the number of revenue hours that we operate for each one of those days of the week, and then multiply that by our hourly contract rate.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments or conversation? So we typically don't take public comment during meetings, but because you didn't come up during the public comment period, I think we can allow it. Could you come up to the mic? Could you come up to the microphone though? Thank you.
I just wondered what the monthly rate is that the township is charged for the bus service.
That the township is charged?
Yeah, I'm sifting through them.
Sure thing. How is this broken down monthly? The total cost for the May, June, July, 4-month period is $66,422.91. Do we have a monthly figure?
I can use my.
Divide by
Is that divided by
4.
4?
I'm not gonna divide it.
60, I'll
because-
divide it.
Okay, but that's,
66,000 by
it's,
4.
yes,
Okay.
roughly. Am I right, Max?
Yeah, that's correct. I was trying to go back and do some quick mental math myself, but
I was not told I would need to do math tonight. Other questions, comments?
I think a couple comments from just what came back from the survey is that it's split in terms of price 60-40. What I'm seeing, 40% of the businesses polled, and I think we had a sample size of how many people responded?
63 people
So
responded.
63, so it's a valid sample size, is that you have roughly about 40% that engage in using the public transport or find the importance of it. And this is me just summarizing in a sense, in that they rely on it for their businesses. Would say probably there's 25% that really raise 20 to 25% raise their hand that they're actively engaged, if their associates and customers are using it. So I think there's two groups. There's 40% who say this is great. And there's 60% that's like, I'm not even engaging it. And of that 40%, I want to say 20 to 25% are really using it. And just make sure I've got head nods of that I'm saying, very factual things. What I'm seeing though is there are a number of businesses that are saying, if we don't have the bus service, this could be very difficult for them to operate their business. One or two that says extremely, and then there's a handful that would say somewhat. That's question number 9. And so it surprised me in the sense to hear that, to get that feedback so that there is engagement on it. I think the other thing I just want to bring up to the group is that we've entered an interesting time frame where gas is $4.25 a gallon. Is this a short-term thing or a long-term thing? And what I mean by that is ridership. The individuals who are supporting these businesses or associates who are employed, are we going to see a higher engagement during this time or not? And is this a long-term thing that we're going to deal with gas prices or not? So this may put a higher reliance on the bus system. So those were just a couple comments that I had by going through this.
And so actually I have a question for Max. Max, I know it's only been a couple weeks and not specific with the line, I guess, that comes out here, and you may have that information, but have you heard of a higher ridership with the Rapid since the gas prices have gone up over the last couple of weeks?
yeah, that's a great question. And we track that daily. And we're actually sort of trying to correlate that with daily gas price fluctuations. And what we do find is that there is a correlation between those two variables, between ridership and gas prices. It's not always immediate, but what we see is usually after a couple of weeks, when we've had sustained high gas prices, we have seen ridership increases. Now we've had high gas prices for a little while now. We have seen about a 4% jump in our ridership on our regular fixed route services. When comparing to about 2-3 weeks ago. To say that that's all because of gas prices, it's correlation versus causation, and that's always a little difficult to ascertain, but we do know that there is a strong relationship between those two variables.
Thanks.
I was surprised to see on the map that the need was, or the usage rather, was stretched out throughout the different areas of the district. I guess I expected that it would be more highly concentrated on the west part of the district. So that was interesting to me. I took note of a couple of the survey responses who mentioned that they were having some difficulty with staffing because of the change that we made to the schedule by reducing the hours. And I'm not today going to propose any change to that, but when we are talking about the more long-term contract, I think we need to have that conversation, particularly if we see the ridership numbers continue to go up as a result of gas prices.
Yeah, but what's interesting, if you go to the question 5, though, since the recent changes in the rapid bus schedule, have your customers or clients complained about not being able to access your business? It was like nearly 80% said no. And then there was like occasionally, so it wasn't like there was a red flag that the shift in the schedule was monumental and disrupted the engagement with the transit system.
For customers.
For customers, I guess. I looked at it through both when
Okay.
reading that.
And I can't pull up the comment in quick short order but it stood out to me as kind of a minor flag that, because it was the only comment that I've seen that was critical of the switch in the timing. As I said, I'm not advocating for any kind of change to the schedule. I'm in favor of approving the contract as it's included in the packet, but I want to be mindful of continuing to track the ridership so that we can determine whether we want to stick with this revised schedule when we renew in a few months, or whether we want to consider making a change to broaden it. That's the only reason I bring it up. Other comments, questions?
I don't think the benefits worth the cost, even though I think transportation is super important and we should have public transportation. I just feel like this is not the best, that we could do better. We could get a better service in Cascade for a lot less money. It's my thinking.
It may be that exists, but we just don't know what it is.
I know,
mean,
but as
and
long
then
as we keep doing this, it's just like,
Well,
I
I'm certainly in favor of exploring options, but I think that the survey of our results show us that there are businesses within our district that would be harmed if we take it away. So until we have something else to offer them as an alternative, then I'm fully in favor of continuing the bus service, particularly if we're going to try to bring additional businesses to this area and keep the ones that we have.
Could we offer like a vouchers to businesses for Uber and Lyft? Like they like a
Something,
voucher
Possibly.
program?
I mean, and I know that downtown Grand Rapids has engaged in some
Yeah.
relationships with Uber, but it's not as cheap as you think, and
Yeah.
it could be complicated. I'm all for pursuing, I should say, investigating on those options, but we don't have any of that information to consider today.
as a DDA, though, like Meijer and Walmart are out for their bottom line, and they 100%, I mean, they're out to make sure what makes financial sense for them. And one of the main reasons for a DDA is so that, because those giant big box stores were kind of sucking away, killing downtowns. So I'm not, I know we need a form of public transportation, and it's just, I don't think I think this is a way too expensive, and the service is not efficiently serving what we need. It's just frustrating. When I was elected, there's a woman that works for the county at a higher level, but lives in Cascade. She said that, I don't remember who the former CEO of the Rapid was, but she was like, he was an excellent at getting money. And he went out to, he did money grabs at the different municipalities, at different townships, and he was really good at it. And Cascade was one of them. And she's like, I definitely see a value in public transportation, but I think that this is a really inefficient, overly expensive money grab by the county, that they've been very inflexible in what the service that they offer is. I just don't see it. I think, and it's the people that benefit, the businesses, are Meijer and Walmart, and that's not the DJ's role.
Well, but that's
But
not
I
what
would-
we're seeing in the
but-
responses, though. I mean, the map shows that.
But look at,
Yeah.
no, there's
Yeah.
one of them. I just don't think, I mean, when you look at there's one of them where it's like,
But I also look at the list of the top payers or top companies that are paying into the DDA. Even if you take the top 10, it starts getting pushed out a little bit more when you go to the top 20. 40 in the top 10, 40% of that are hotels.
Right.
And then 30% of that is retail. And so we do know directionally and from survey results, I mean, there was, some informal discussions. The hotels definitely have employees that rely on public transport. We also know that in the retail sector, there are employees that engage the transit.
right, it's just a cost. Look at how much of a benefit for how much of a cost. And I know there is, I'm looking for that one where it showed
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. I think right now, in the absence of a better choice at the moment, and based upon the decision we're making through, I know we're kicking the can down the road just a little bit more. But we're making a decision at the beginning of June, is that correct?
Correct.
That in absence of other options, we keep supporting the businesses, and the survey has shown that there are a number of businesses that will struggle to even operate. So in the meantime, I think we have to open our ears and eyes to other options, because I think instead of just keep on funneling money into this, let's explore those options. But in the meantime, let's keep this support system of the transit whole for the next couple months and continue to fund it.
I agree. And my recommendation would be that we schedule a bus committee meeting for next month so that we can discuss whether there are other options out there. And so if you have ideas, either join us in our conversation or forward them to us, because I did some of my own light research, and frankly, nothing jumped out at me as a viable alternative, at least in the short term. If we want to try to plan further out, that might be something to consider, but we need to, grind in and do the work. I think that it is a survey, and Scott's right. The issue on the table today is whether we approve this short-term contract. If we want to change it in the future, then that's something that we're not going to address in this meeting. We need to actually start to investigate those options outside of this and then bring it to the table. If not in June, then, further on down the road.
And if there's others, I mean, I think looking for other service is one, but I do think maybe, and this is the bus committee to talk about, are there ways of, we were just talking about, public and private partnerships and people getting involved. And if that's from a financial standpoint, are there organizations here that would be willing to ante up? I also think that we maybe should think about the bus service and its sort of intrinsic benefit and value, not just to this community in itself, but how others view this community, in that we're actually supporting public transit. So not just, attracting and retaining businesses, but also how others view Cascade as a, sort of progressive, particularly when it comes to whether it's access or from an environmental and sustainability. Because I have people I know in the other parts of the larger community that have talked about it's so great that Cascade has the bus service coming out there and blah, blah, blah. So I just think that ought to be part of the equation as well.
And I think as we start looking at what the future is one, are there alternatives? Yes, we should ask that question. Two is, we know that there is a need for some form of transportation, and in absence of that, there will be a number of businesses that will be adversely affected, right? And I think the last bucket we need to look at was we talked about before this meeting about what the strategic plan is. How does public transport play into that as we attract people to our community? And that means people getting to your community to enjoy it. And that includes people to support the awesome businesses that make up the community, that attract people in as well. So I think those are all key questions we need to start asking.
Because one of the comments I read on here, read in here too, it was interesting that somebody made the point that I don't have any employees that use the bus. However, I know that the restaurants that they're visiting at lunchtime, those businesses have employees that are using the bus. So my employees who are looking for someplace to eat in that half hour, 45 minutes, don't have someplace to go if you don't have the employees to help take care of them. So again, it may not affect me. It's not in my backyard, but it does affect the people that are working for me in an extensive matter from the perspective of that dining, and who knows what other services, maybe the grocery store that they have to go to and whatnot.
I definitely see a value. I'm not anti-public transportation at all. It just seems like this is a very expensive for what the amount that we're getting from it, I guess. It'd
be interesting to get someone to ride along for like, get it intern or like find someone that can do like the ride along and actually see how many people get picked up on the bus route.
And
We have the numbers.
And the frequent, yeah,
Oh,
and their
we do?
numbers are, they count, you know, two for getting on and getting off. It's just like, I don't- and then you just look,
We're living in a very, this is a bold statement, I know, a very interesting time, right? I mean, with what's going on with gas prices, but also with how they're projecting out, how hard it is to get labor to work in businesses. And it really doesn't matter what genre of business or category you're in, finding associates to work in them is extremely difficult. We also know that it isn't poof overnight that this issue is going to go away. They're actually projecting this out over the long term, especially as baby boomers are retiring. And so at the end of the day, we have to look at the viability of how we get people to engage and support the businesses by working in them. I can't say that this is the magic bullet by any stretch of the imagination, but transportation and getting people to their jobs is going to be very important. So whatever we decide, there has to be a component in our township that helps supplement in some way to allow, whether it's a feeder service from a transit hub, or if it is continuing to support the transit system, or if it's vouchers on Uber, whatever the solutions are, this is going to be a problem that's with us today, tomorrow, and well into the future. And to have a vibrant DDA, we need to be cognizant of it.
Well, Sandra, please, in addition to sending out a doodle to schedule a meeting for April, it's probably safe to say it's unreasonable to try to squeeze one in before the end of this month. Also, please email everyone on the board to get input about potential alternatives. And if so, people have ideas about vouchers or Uber or other things that the committee should investigate or discuss, we can add that to our agenda. Okay. Any further questions, comments?
I'm new, so I don't know if there's a rule that you can only talk at one point in the meeting.
So technically at the meetings, the people from the public are invited to come up at the beginning of the meeting and provide their comments regarding the agenda. And, you know, it's a rule put in place to try to control the volume of comments that happen. But given that, you know, you're new, I welcome you to come up and, you know, we'll give you a pass for this one meeting. And the next time.
But welcome you back.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. We've got the eject button, so be careful. But go ahead.
I'm all for public transportation, as you all are as well. I was just a little surprised that I didn't hear more about the public transportation and how it serves the community. You know, because there's a lot of people here that need public transportation to get from point A to point B that we're not talking about. And actually, I had a meeting with a friend, and she lives in one of in Forest Hills, one of the retirement communities, and uses a walker. She can't drive, and she's really having a hard time getting to and from the doctor. You know, that is a huge need there. You know, that's an age group, I would say, of underserved people that live here. And they're probably residential folks in the condos. And, you know, that'd be nice to include in the equation as well. I understand people getting to work and, you know, coming into the community. But, you know, there's a little broader perspective that we should be thinking about as a community. What type of people are we? And how do we, I mean, not what other people necessarily think of us, which it's, I mean, important too, but how we think of ourselves and how we're taking care of each other. And, you know, that should be something that we could be very proud of. If we could come up with an idea as a community, we could be trendsetters.
Do you know what she used it, how she, like, we have a contract with Hope Network that would in theory cover her, you know, provide those services, but that doesn't mean it's ideal for her. I don't know.
Apparently it hasn't been something she's been introduced to.
Because the Go Bus is the
Right.
alternative that is available in connection with the Rapid contract. And the Go Bus is, and I'm bad at these details, so please jump in, Max or Sandra. But it's with, it is that type of transportation that's available to people who need it because they have either a disability or they meet certain other criteria. And it's available within a certain distance from a rapid bus route. And so it is available to people in Cascade because we have that extended bus contract into Cascade now.
She just indicated that whatever solutions have been presented to her, it's either you can, she said, usually you can get there because you have to plan it like really far in advance, which is understandable, but then you can't get back. You know, you have to wait like hours for the pickup to come back. And she, you know, I was shocked when she was describing these issues. And I promised her, I said, I'll bring it up. I've been going to
Well, I'm
the
glad
meetings.
That is really hard because we take it for granted that we can just hop in our, being
Right.
independent, but that is very hard.
But when you talk about solutions like Uber, and, you know, I don't know how those work in a community setting, but it seems like that might fit the need a little better. I don't have the answers, but I would, you know, just recommend, I think that would be good to explore as you're trying to come up with solutions and the bus isn't going to get it. I do know that. I don't know what else there is.
Sorry, it's a good point in that because we have the rapid contract that we've made access available to those people with the Go Bus.
Right.
And I don't know, I mean, I looked into it for somebody like 3 years ago, where you could make appointments, they would, you know, and it's door-to-door service. So they pick you up and I don't know where that is. Is Max still on the line?
Max, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So what I'm thinking, hearing this is we may need to do a little bit of a better job of putting information about how to use that service out there to our residents. And I mean, you know, putting it on the website is a good, it may already be on there for all that I know, but let's look at a way to get that communication into newsletters and onto the website. And with information about where to call if they have questions.
And measure
And
it.
maybe to the retirement communities. as well,
Very much so,
directly.
yeah. If
And
they don't
measure it,
already
'cause
have
you
that.
could have more people, I mean, I'm ignorant. You could have more people using the Go Bus than you do using the
We have
Grand
quite a
Rapids
few,
bus,
it's,
for all I know. I
that's
mean,
actually,
I don't
there's
know.
a lot of that information in here as well, and it does have pretty
Find that.
robust use. Administrative thing, would you mind sharing your name and your address for our records? We usually, in public comments, we get that information.
I signed in
Oh, you
Wendy
did?
Wendy Sturm, and I live on Hunter Green Court, 2570 Hunter Green Court.
Thank you very much.
southeast, Few blocks from here.
Yeah, we're looking at, so the DDA properties with capture over $1 million or captured value over $1 million, there's at least 2 retirement homes on here.
Right.
Well, thank you very much. You raised
Yeah.
some very good points. Appreciate it.
And
Next
Max-
time we'll make you come up at the beginning, though. I'll know you. I'll know you have
Next time I'll keep scrolling. to the bottom of the packet. I didn't, you know, I only made it through the minutes. I thought that's all there was.
Oh, no. Well, this was a particular, usually they're not quite this long. We usually, it's a little
I
tighter.
see, I could have done a little more homework.
And we post them usually on the website several days before the
Friday-
meeting.
the
So you
Friday
can
before the
do a
meeting.
little homework if, you know, so you're not on your phone trying to.
So I'm just providing teasers for you.
No, it's helpful.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all engagement. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening.
All right.
So Grace, what is the second one? So Sunrise Retirement, and is it Emerald Meadows?
Yeah, that's what I see.
So I'm just not familiar with that one.
Neither am I though.
That's
So
behind,
now,
Walmart, that's the one back behind.
Oh.
Oh,
the apartments.
No,
No.
no, there's a living, there's a assisted living
Behind the,
behind, to the east of the apartments, but behind Walmart.
It's
So
kind of
if
right
you
behind
took-
where they just tore down that building.
yes,
Right, it's right behind
the
there.
Subaru?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right
What
back behind.
about, Sentinel, is that not?
Sentinel
I
Point?
think that's out of the
Outside the
DDA.
So Sentinel, right, that's outside the
Is
district.
Is Meyer as well outside the DDA?
Mount Myers in the.
Because I
district.
would have
We don't know
expected
why.
I'm
them,
shocked they're not on this.
What's
list.
Cascade East Townhomes?
wouldn't they be on here?
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
Those are, Cascade East Townhomes are the ones
Sandra
in the
didn't know either.
village adjacent
Yeah, that
to,
one caught me off guard.
um, like the Folling warehouse.
Are they
those
the new ones?
The new ones.
Oh, so their property's worth a lot?
Yep.
Yeah, where's Meyer? Somebody's not paying enough taxes.
Because that one
That is
feels,
interesting.
that's a very large property right in the DDA.
Mhm.
Did they get a?
I don't know the answer to that question, but. it might
I
be
think,
worth-
I think it's worth like just coming up with, I know we have to vote today, but like coming up with some ideas like that, putting the power with the employer and like offering them like, okay, let us, we'll like a trial basis at some point and just see if we could do some kind of voucher program for rides and see if it's more cost effective and more efficient for the people that are being transported.
We'll definitely look into it.
Yeah.
Or is it something with bus service we can explore? It's the hours of operation and the hours that we no longer service on an hour basis. We might be able to supplement with something else and defray the costs.
It may very well be a hybrid approach. I think all ideas need to be put on the table for consideration. So do please, when Sandra gives you a poke about this, please forward any ideas that you have to her so we can look into it. So with that, unless there's further comment about the contract, I'll entertain a motion regarding approval of the agreement with the Interurban Transit Partnership and the DDA.
I second it.
Are you making the motion?
I'm making the motion.
Thank you very
sorry.
much.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye,
Okay.
nay, which, what do you
Okay.
say?
I think
No, thank you.
noted. All right, that passes.
Difficult throwing a
Oh,
wrench in.
that's okay. You get a voucher. Sorry, yes.
Sorry. I guess maybe if you could decide who you'd like to sign the contract as well. It's between the Rapid and the DDA. So if you want, the
So
chair to sign it, or if,
it's usually chair secretary, correct? Do we both have signing authority? For the DDA, I believe. we do not. I'm happy to sign it. So
that's fine.
unless someone has a problem with that. Can't imagine you do. All righty then. Moving on then to the next item on our agenda, which is an update regarding the landscaping, planting and maintenance bids. Sorry, Sandra, making you run.
I've got to excuse myself.
Thank you for the treats.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Scott.
Excellent as
Have a great
always.
night.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. So as you know, we sent out an RFP for landscape planting and maintenance services to a handful of companies. Bids were due Tuesday, March 1st, and the RFP generated 2 proposals. Michelle and Renee volunteered to review those proposals with staff and make a recommendation to the board. So we met last week, and following review and discussion, the group felt it was important and are therefore recommending to expand our reach and to send the RFP back out in an attempt to get some, hopefully, get some different or additional proposals. Because of that recommendation, I did not put the proposals in the packet. We didn't want the cost and so forth out there. Certainly, if that's not the direction the DDA wants to go, I'm prepared to discuss those proposals tonight, but again, the recommendation was to send that back out. And if that's the direction the DDA would like to go, if you have a business, a landscape company you'd like me to add to the list, I know both Renee and Michelle have sent a few names over. Happy to add that. The thought was if we could get that out in the next day or two. Bring my calendar. I was thinking that the proposals would be due April 7. The Renee and Michelle could review those, shortly after, and then we could get that on the agenda for the April 19th board meeting for consideration.
How many more proposals are we looking for to be able to?
We're hoping for a minimum of 3 and have 3 at least to pick from.
We get it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was a certain.
And those would still be in consideration.
Yeah,
Those
no,
would still be in the
absolutely,
running.
sure.
We're just,
So will we, or have we connected with those 2 that we have received proposals to say that we have not made a decision yet?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. I contacted them
Just
the
so
other
they don't
day.
think that they're out and they're gonna do other jobs, and then you come back and say, yeah, we'll take
Yeah.
it. No, I'm sorry, we're not available now.
Yeah,
So,
no,
okay.
they're both aware. So
Sounds good. Any questions?
if, could you just make a motion to?
I move Sandra's recommendation. Any support?
I support.
The-
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. And again,
You're
if you
welcome.
have any suggested company, I'm more than happy to add them to the list. So
Okay. Would you mind circulating a list of the companies that you
Sent it to?
sent it to already?
Yep.
Thanks. Article 7, I included a line item, just status of strategic plan process. I don't know why I can't say this today. Just in case we wanted to circle back about anything, I didn't have anything specific that we need to discuss here. I just figured if there were people who were going to attend this who didn't attend the working group that immediately preceded this, they might have questions. So unless there's questions or conversation about that, we probably exhausted a lot of those issues. All right, moving on to
Would-
Article 8. Oh,
can I
yes,
just say,
please.
would it be helpful if I sent everybody a meeting invite for the March 24th focus group meeting? That way it's in your calendar. Would that
Please.
be okay
And actually, could you circulate invites to all of them?
for all the focus
I saw
groups?
them on Facebook, which is how I learned that they had already been scheduled, but of particular concern to this DDA board are that focus group regarding the village, and then the one that's going to happen in late April
Yeah,
regarding
the road safety.
roads. Exactly.
Right.
So I'll want that to be on people's radar. The middle two are Parks and Rec and.
Parks and trails and growth management and
Right.
preservation. But I
Right,
can,
so-
I'll send one for each and
Please,
yep,
that would be,
okay.
that would be very helpful. And those are in person, correct?
those are in person here at 6 o'clock.
Got it.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Are they virtual also? I think that they may be.
I'm not
I
remember me?
don't
Sure.
Think so.
Maybe I remembered it wrong.
No.
I heard that they were still trying to decide.
Okay,
And that was like earlier today.
okay.
Oh, well, there you go. That's probably accurate information. Anything else regarding strategic plan process? Okay, moving on to Article 8, any other business? Sandra, informational meeting? That time
So
again already?
it's that time already. We certainly, yes, as you know, we have to have 2 a year. We certainly don't have to have it in April. I guess I'm throwing that out. If you want to push it back a month or two, I mean, you guys let me know what your thoughts are. We usually hold that, adjacent to this meeting once at the conclusion of the regularly scheduled meeting. So,
We know that we're going to have a meeting in April, so
Yeah.
I say let's go forward with it.
okay,
Those that will have one in May, will certainly have one in June, so I guess I'd rather
Right.
schedule the informational meeting for April so that we can be sure that it's on the calendar.
okay, I'll get that
Unless
notice out
there's a
there.
notice problem, you've got enough time. to
No,
send
I've
that
got
out.
enough time to
Okay.
get the notices out, so.
Anyone disagree with that?
No.
Thank you. And then I think I don't have my agenda with me, but
There's nothing else on there. It's all just,
next
any other
meeting, April
business?
19th,
Yeah.
so.
Anything going on in the DDA that I see Capriati's is closed now?
right.
Yeah, they closed a few months ago. The cleaner place next to Sugar Mama's closed
Oh,
and they're
okay.
cleaning that up and
Oh, yeah, I
we'll
saw that.
see what moves in there.
Oh,
And then
interesting.
what's going on with Hamburger Mary's? Are they open? They not?
So, I know, they increasingly look like they're not going to reopen. Every
Oh.
time, it still says that they're temporarily
Yeah. 'cause I looked on the
closed.
Website. saw that.
But it just, I don't
What's
know.
their stated reason right now? Just staffing or just temporary closed, no reason?
I think it was COVID at the time, and staffing as well, so.
Oh, that's a huge bummer.
But now, I'm not saying they're not going to reopen,
right.
but
Okay.
it just, every time I, drive by, it seems like more things are
So
being
tough.
removed.
I mean,
It
they
is.
seem like they
Yeah.
opened with a big bang and they had a
Mhm.
lot of.
And during COVID, I mean, I thought
Right.
they,
Their timing couldn't have
Yeah.
been worse, but they had brisk business.
Right.
Or at least.
and
it
they had a
seemed.
following and,
Yes.
it was kind of a destination and
Right.
I didn't realize
Um,
it's a franchise too.
it is,
Mhm.
Well,
yeah,
fingers crossed that it'll
yeah, I hope
come back
so.
open.
Are their burgers as good as someone said they are?
Yes,
Really?
they're good. I mean,
not as good as Culver's.
of course not. Nothing could be as good as Butterburger.
I mean, are they like edible, that's what I mean, where I bet they don't have vanilla custard
Not,
or fish.
not.
And I see progress on the car wash.
Car wash
Wow.
is
It's
coming
actually interesting
along.
to see the innards as I drive by. to
Yeah.
See that going up. What's their projected opening date?
Uh,
Ballpark.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
Anything else going on that you guys have seen or?
Trying to think.
I haven't noticed anything. I've been-
There's a hair, there's a, the Openopolis, I know there's a, like a salon type business has moved into there.
Up on Old
Down in
28.
Oh,
the,
where Panopolis was?
where Panopolis
Oh,
was, yeah.
okay.
Interesting.
So
Oh, we have
that
a
space
plethora
is
of hair
filled.
salons now.
Yeah.
I do.
Boy, that Cat
Lots of
Briotti's place
choices.
is like,
That was
I don't
good.
want to say jinx.
Cursed.
Okay,
Yeah,
oh, you said it.
I know.
Don't
That's-
move across the street.
That's a tough location.
It is
That's,
a tough location. It's a screwy little.
it's a small parcel. I
It's
think it's hard to get in and out of. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of businesses in
Or
there.
something
so.
like Duncan, and then before that, the,
Which I'm
Those
surprised,
Taco
don't you- doesn't it seem
Boy.
like Dunkin' Donuts would be able with their coffee and stuff.
you know,
I was surprised when it closed too, but who knows?
Hmm.
Any other items to report or other business to discuss?
don't think so.
All right, with that, I will entertain from one of you a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Nay.
Oh.
Just to lessen the nay from four.
Trustee Shipley,
Two
who
double
sometimes
negatives.
opposes adjourning the board meeting. Thank you very much, everyone. Long day, really
Thanks, you guys.
valuable.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
That's the vet. Family